Yo guys, welcome to the Blue Podcast with me, Tom and Ben. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks.
We've done two in a row, finally. It's been a while since we've done two podcasts in a week, which is nice. We're trying, obviously, as we said, we're back. Make sure you do like the video, subscribe if you're new around here. I guess the goal now kind of is 900 by New Year's, which is just not going to happen.
Yeah, but it's more possible than 1,000 anyway.
Yeah, now we're uploading and it's poor possible, maybe at a push. Sorry there was no reaction yesterday. I wasn't too pleased after the Chelsea result, and I couldn't really bring myself to react to it, to be honest. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get into that. Obviously, City won 3-1 as well yesterday, which was, I guess, nice for you.
Liverpool won 3-1.
Liverpool won yesterday, yeah. Sorry, Liverpool won 3-1. Yeah, I mean, you won 7-0 on Tuesday, which certainly helped your goal difference, because, I mean, it did look like me and Chelsea and Liverpool had a much better goal difference.
Yeah,
now we're conceding and you're scoring 7.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice with the with the way the week was going. It was nice, a nice result. I mean, it's nice whenever you win, but like it was especially nice with the week, the way the week was going. It was just ridiculous. We'll get onto that as well.
Yes. Well, yeah. Obviously, the title of this video, I think, is everything corrupt? So we will get into the corruption that occurred on the weekend, and I guess the the draw as well, which was interesting. Yeah, Chelsea suck right now. Chelsea suck. I'll get stats up for the Everton game. Obviously, you said you didn't watch it, but
yeah, I've not watched.
We had 80% possession. We had 10 shots on target with 23 shots, which we scored one of. We scored one. And surprise, Mason Mount, who's, I think, 4th top goal scorer or 5th top goal scorer in the Premier League right now, bailing us out again. Yeah, because obviously if he hadn't scored that, we'd have lost, which is great. Because, with Everton's 19.9% possession, 3 shots on target and 5 shots overall, they scored.
Yeah.
We tripled their touches, almost quintupled their passes.
It's just it's just typical football.
Oh yeah, no, it was typical Chelsea, I guess, and City. It's like at times, when you have this possession and you got these chances. We had chances after chance, especially in the first half. But I put this message in the Chelsea chat. We're gonna reap the consequences from not scoring in that first half, and we did. It's a common trend.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I say, I've not been watching. I mean, obviously, I watch City. I don't watch Chelsea, so I've not watched any of Chelsea's recent fixtures. But time and time again, you're saying we're not playing well. So something mustn't be going right. I don't know what it is because I've not been watching it myself. But we like I'd put money on you hitting form in January when we're due to play. Yeah, I put money on it.
Yeah, no, there was a list of all the players that were out as well for us. It was Chilwell. Well, it was like when these people are back and fit. So we were missing Chilwell, Cho, Lukaku, Werner, Havertz, Kovacic. I think yesterday, and Chalobah's not fully fit, but he was on the bench. Kante's not fully fit, but he was on the bench. That's pretty much 8 starters or possible starters who aren't fully fit. And obviously, we had this conversation, I think, last Friday about how, I know we've got lots of squad depth, and obviously, if other teams like Everton, for example, who have been massively hit with injury and COVID, and obviously they had some absolutely they had a Premier League debut up top and stuff like that, and Brathwaite, who I think I've heard of from FIFA, but that's about it. From like a FIFA career mode, I was probably in like League 2. It's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
But it is clearly affecting us because we can't score unless your name's Mason Mount. He was obviously fourth or fifth top goal scorer. Do you want to talk about the City win? I'm sure you're happy with that.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. Yeah, I mean, obviously Leeds have not been the same as they were last season, but I mean, no one, you never think you're gonna beat someone 7-0.
No,
But yeah, no, obviously Leeds, like I say, not what they were last season, but we played well.
De Bruyne seemed to have found his feet.
De Bruyne, yeah, it was good for De Bruyne to get a couple of goals. Like I say, he's been with injured, COVID, all that, so it's nice for him to get into the swing of it a bit. His first goal was cracking, but his second goal was even more cracking.
Yeah, I mean, it's still rising, isn't it? He just
Yeah,
hit it so hard.
just yeah, fantastic. I mean, like I say, even his first one he hit with some venom, like with some whip and that. But like the second one, yeah, it was a cracking goal.
And
But
then you're
yeah,
still only 4 points ahead of us.
yeah. Well, this is what I mean. Like, this is what I was saying before we started recording. Like, obviously your form's patchy and all that, but you're still only 4 points behind, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Well, I guess we've been benefited by of how we started the season. Obviously, we
Yeah.
started it. I guess obviously best in the league. We started the season best in the
Yeah.
league. Over the first how many games? And I mean, yeah, my fingers are crossed for the future. And I thought Everton's result was different to the previous results we've had, in the sense of we demolished them, and if we just had someone else to put the ball in the back of the net, or a slightly different decision was made, like marginal things, that could have been an absolute whitewash. But obviously, right now with the Chelsea as it is right now, it's a 1-1 draw with Everton, who lost 7 games in a row prior. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Speaking of it is what it is, in terms of Red Bull anyway, should we talk about the shocking result that happened on Sunday?
Well, we can't spend too much time on this because I'll just get increasingly more angry.
That's why I suggested we talk about it. Also, I want to talk about it as well.
Increasingly, I'll just get increasingly more annoyed with it if we talk about it for too long. But yeah,
as the F1, I guess the F1 resident of us two. Obviously, I've started following it now, but as the more experienced F1 guy, do you want to explain to anyone that doesn't know what happened on Sunday?
Before I even say anything, there's no precedent for this ever. So,
should I stay calm whilst he says this?
Lewis Hamilton smashing it, whatever. Then Latifi, absolute bozo, is like this, battling it out for like P16 or something, shit like that. Crashed into the wall. The safety car comes out. You're like, right, okay, it'll be a bit tricky because he's on all the tires. He's, he's not got. If he pits,
37 old tires, hasn't he? 37 old hard tires.
Basically, whatever he did, Verstappen was going to do the opposite. Because if he pits, Verstappen stays out to keep track position. If he stays out, Verstappen pits to get new tires. So they went for the track position because this is part of it. They stayed out for track position because they, looking at the rules and expecting what was to happen, looking at the precedent, was that it was going to end under safety car. That was the precedent. That's what the rules stated. But let's just let
them race, right, Ben? Let's just let them race.
Let's just include the tosser Michael Massey, who should be sacked or resign straight away or as soon as possible. The first decision that he made was to not let the lapped cars pass
and just restart with the final
and
lap.
Just restart. And that was because he knew, I think, that if he was to let all, so we'll get onto the technicalities, but if he was to let all the lapped cars to unlap themselves, they wouldn't be able to have a racing lap. So he thought, right, we'll just stop. We'll just not that won't happen. Then we'll have a racing lap at the end. And then Horner's on the phone. before that, before that, Wolf was on the phone saying for a previous incident, the Giovinazzi incident, please no safety car, because he knew us, and that shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. But for this instance, Horner's on the phone. Oh, we just need one racing lap, one racing.
All we need is one.
one racing lap. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. One racing lap. So he goes, oh shit. Right. Right. So we'll let the cars in between those two pass, but not the others.
Which makes no sense.
It's against,
which is literally putting Lewis Hamilton on a death sentence.
Yeah, it's against the rules. They knew full well what would happen, but they did it anyway. And I'm still in disbelief, really.
Also, I remember there was the comments of Vettel and someone else who quite an experienced driver.
Yeah,
they were saying over the almost saying over the comms that the overtake should have started happening straight away. It should have happened 4 laps before we even started suggesting that.
So if this is the point, so if they had done that, Max Verstappen probably would have won it fairly. But they didn't do that. So then they twisted it. But anyway, so we'll get onto the technicalities of it. In the rules, it says any lapped cars will be allowed to unlap themselves. Any. Now, any to me says if you look through the field, you find any of them. So that means all of them to me, they should be allowed to unlap themselves.
And has always been the case prior.
It's always been the case. And he said that in a race last season. He said, sorry, can't restart yet. We've got to let them all unlap themselves. He said that himself in a race previous. 3 of them weren't allowed to unlap themselves. That rule 1 broken. Rule 2 says after they have unlapped themselves, the following lap, following lap is when the safety car will come in. They brought the safety car in immediately against the rules. That the following, so it's just I can't, because you think these sort of governing bodies will hold themselves to the highest standard, but they don't. And this is what hence corruption. Hence they have fixed they have influenced the race there. They fixed
the race. They fixed the race in Verstappen's favour.
They fixed the race. They've influenced it, and I can't get my head around how they can get away with it, but they will.
I think the only thing now that can happen is they'll get fined loads of money by Mercedes, because obviously if they go to court, they'll fine them.
Yeah.
Or the Michael Massey steps down, basically.
I don't know if they're going to take him to court because they've left their appeal, but there is an investigation that has been instigated by the FIA. So I think
the FIA investigating the FIA.
That's the point. But I do think, in consultation with the teams, that they will have to draw up a new set of rules. Michael Massey will have to go. They'll have to put a new structure in place, because it just didn't work. It was wrong. And the excuse that they used at the end of it was that the race director has overriding rule.
Yeah. So, but those rules, right, allow for what we were talking about in last week's episode. We were talking about conspiracy theories and having either Red Bull have FIA in their pocket, or Mercedes having FIA in their pocket. Absolutely. That allows for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, I think that's a poor excuse, because let's follow that to the end point. If you follow that thought to the end, that means next season something happens, he can just go, nah, we're not, no safety car, we'll carry on. If he has overriding rule,
he can do anything.
Or he can go, actually, the race started, nothing's happened. Right, red flag, we'll start again in a bit. If he's got overriding rule,
it just feeds that conspiracy theory as well, though. Like, if he has overriding rule, well, let's say he's been paid off by so and so, and they've had not a very good start. It's just get a red flag in, let them restart.
Absolutely, it's just blatant like sort of, it's like I don't know. It's just like I've forgotten. There's another word for it, but like just yeah, it's just blatant, and I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I remember me and Cam was sat. The message I got from Ben after that occurred, and obviously all of us were kind of sat there baffled, absolutely baffled. Uh, was well, I'm not watching F1 again, wasn't it? Because it was
Yeah,
just completely immoral. And then also there was been an interview with Toto Wolff,
yeah.
um, where he said that there is a chance now that Hamilton won't race again because
Oh,
obviously
absolutely,
Hamilton's all about morals and all that kind of stuff, and obviously
absolutely.
they've literally just
I think. I mean, it's very raw at the moment, so he at the moment he'll just be taking time out to just digest it and sort of go through it in his head and think about it and think like sort of get his head around it. But that will be very much on the table at this moment in time
mm,
because I don't think if the same people are there, if Michael Massey's still there, if the same structure is still in place, if the rules haven't been corrected, I think that it's a very real possibility that if all that does change, then I think he will come back. But if it's still the same by the time next season comes round, I think he might think, or maybe I'll come back in a couple of years, but I can't do this now unless something changes. I can't do
yeah,
it.
yeah, which is obviously which would also be. I think the FIA don't even realise how much of a loss losing Hamilton would be.
Yeah, yeah,
Like financially, it'd be catastrophic at this moment in time, especially if he's leaving because they're corrupt.
it's
Like,
just
just
pure
think about
incompetence.
the implications of that.
Yeah, it's just pure incompetence, and I can't like I don't know, but again, like, and a lot of this has been said. I mean, my friend, who was of this sort of the ilk of like, he's fed up of Hamilton winning, he wants someone else to win it. But even he was like, yeah, it's a bit fishy in it. So it's just like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, I wouldn't obviously if I'm not specifically anyone's fan. I just like I've only started watching F1 obviously this season. I enjoy watching good races,
Mm,
and if Verstappen had won fair and square, I'm not going to be sat here on this podcast gutted like I am right now because if he'd won it fair and square, he's a better driver. Fair enough.
yeah,
But the fact that Hamilton was leading for how many laps, was driving for like he was keeping a 13 to 14-second gap between
yeah, with
him
all,
and Verstappen. Whilst Verstappen was on brand new mediums and he was on old hards, and he was still doing it. I was just sat there in awe of how well he was driving and thinking this is an incredible race. He's smashing it. He's about to win. I fully want him to win. And then they just do that, and it's like that's possibly also that Grand Prix, that final was possibly I bet one of the most viewed
yeah,
um, Grand Prix
absolutely,
ever, one of the biggest ever, and
yeah.
then
And,
it's just shot a
that,
huge red flag on F1.
yeah, and that's a point that people are making. They in their head they're probably thinking, "Oh, new winner, more fans." But the way it's happened, that'll turn people away.
Yeah,
And so, but it's. I mean, a lot has been said about it's not Max's fault. It's not Red
no, it's
Bull's
not
fault.
Max.
It's not. But I mean, they're saying that they've not been the most gracious of winners.
No,
But but it's about sporting integrity. It's about fairness of the sport. It shouldn't be entertainment then sport. It's sport then entertainment. The entertainment is a byproduct of the sport, not the other way around. And it just boggles my mind. I just can't. I mean, it's just the thing that it's just injustice, and I just can't stand it with anything. It's just pure blatant injustice, and I can't. I, like this is what I was saying. I think that's me done because
yeah.
I'll never be able to watch it and not think of it. Well, I mean, my dad made a good point. I mean, I probably won't watch it for like the first half of
First half
the
of the season, anyway.
season. But if Hamilton is absolutely smashing it and absolutely destroying Verstappen, I'll be watching it.
Yeah.
But just to laugh at Verstappen. And even though it's not his fault, and laugh at the
Yeah,
FIA.
it's not like you're putting hate on Verstappen for him winning it. It's just he won it instead of Hamilton, and it should have been Hamilton, and he was cheated out of a win.
Yeah.
So if Hamilton then goes out there and proves himself, which I want to happen as well. Like, I'd love it if Hamilton comes back next year, Mercedes actually start with a good car rather than having to change it about halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And he just wipes the floor with the whole thing. It'd be great.
It'd be fantastic. It'd be poetic, but
Yeah.
you don't know when it's going to happen. Like sometimes that happens, but sometimes, as I think many sports people have done, who are at the top and are just about to make that step to getting their record, and they just can't quite get there, and they never quite get there, and that could quite easily happen as well. Which is why it's even more sort of.
Well, he was cheated out, possibly being undoubtedly
Yeah.
the greatest
I
driver.
mean, he basically already is. It's just that he's joined most championships, and I mean, so for some would say that does like he's got the most of everything else. So like being joined the most at that is, in essence, he already is. But it's just like that definitive.
Yeah, it makes him undoubtedly the best.
Yeah, but it's just yeah.
It's just kind of soured
Yeah.
what has been
And
an incredible season.
and this is what I mean about Verstappen not being very gracious, because you like to think that he would care, and that he would, understand, but he doesn't care, and he just doesn't understand, because obviously, I mean, fair enough, he's like, well, I've won it, so whatever. But like, I think it's been a thing that's been shown throughout the season that fundamentally, as people, they are just different in their standards.
Verstappen hasn't got morals like
Hamilton. Yeah, they're just fundamentally different, and that's in part what makes it a good rivalry. But in a situation like this, it just makes him not endearing even more.
And also it should be, if it had happened differently, Verstappen had won fairly.
Yeah,
the narrative would be possibly Verstappen has won it at 24 years old, first Grand Prix. Kind of, it would be more that story with him, because he is quite young. Obviously, he's 12 years younger than Hamilton, and all these things. But it is massively soured the win for Verstappen. But I guess for him, he doesn't care. As
he doesn't care. But I mean, like you say, if he'd won it fairly, you put your hands up and say, "Oh, he's smashed that race." But I mean, the only thing that I can think of that may annoy him is that he will always be asked about it. He will always be asked about it. There's no getaway, and he's like, they can't take it away from me. I won it on track. Right. Are you just going to completely ignore what actually happened? It's like, they can't, like, look. It was green flags, green track, whatever. Like,
but it shouldn't have been. But it shouldn't have been.
It's just racing. It's racing. It's like, well, that wasn't.
And also, if that crash never happened, which was a stupid crash.
Yeah, but I mean,
debate.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you could like that is true. Like, obviously, if there's no crash, that whatever, it doesn't matter. But even with the crash,
Hamilton probably still would have won.
Hamilton still would have won with the way, because with the way it went. But then, as soon as that decision happened, it changed it.
What are your thoughts on the fact that Verstappen did technically overtake Hamilton on the yellow car?
It's I mean, it's a technicality, really. It doesn't. I mean, I think
they were pulling at straws there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's not like I think it's not that it was obviously he wanted to get going as soon as possible, because as soon as they made that decision to
He knew. Yeah.
Blatantly influence. He knew on fresher tyres. I've got this. I've smashed it. So he was wanting to get it going as soon as possible to get past him. So, but I mean, like, I think the drivers have come that close before. Like, maybe I don't know if they have edged past before, but it was only a little bit. So, I mean, it's very technical. But the main thing is the just blatant influencing and fixing of the race, and it's just, yeah, it's just, it's yeah. Like,
he's not happy. He's not happy. I'm not happy either. I mean, me and Cam were sat on that sofa, supposed to be doing work. Because we sat on the sofa. Me and Cam sat on the sofa from 11:30 with Fab as well, like doing some work whilst the build up was happening. You know, looking forward to it. Race started. Not gonna lie, couldn't pick up a pen. I was so like enthralled, and it was very exciting. Like it was always like, well, Verstappen's pitted and he's got fresher tyres, and now he's got and then it was all very fun. And then me and Cam just then sat there for like 3 hours after the race with the post race on. Like, the hell has just happened? It was just
mind-boggling.
It was mind-boggling, and it was just yeah. But I mean, I guess from one corrupt to another, UEFA. You want to talk about that because obviously you weren't happy about them.
I've calmed down a bit from that now. It was still very raw, the FIA stuff, but I mean, like, it's not so much. I mean, they probably are corrupt, but they are corrupt. But like the said incident with the round of 16 draw, I think is again just not again, but like
incompetence. I guess
it's pure incompetence, and it's. I mean, this is getting into a more philosophical sort of debate that we won't go into now, but I'll just briefly. It's a through line throughout everything that seems to be happening through football, Formula One, government, anything. It's just pure incompetence through the lot, and fundamentally what it always comes down to is money and jobs for the boys, and it doesn't matter if your mate is good or not, competent or not, they get the job. So this is why whenever inevitably like something happens where it's incompetence, is because they've employed someone who's incompetent just because of the mate, not best in class professionals. And this is a fundamental thing in society, but we won't get into that just because it's like a whole podcast.
Yeah, it's a whole podcast, and unfortunately, we haven't got enough time today because I've been doing the assignment. But I guess just briefly, also, if you talk about, obviously, we said we've done F1. We'll probably have to speak quite briefly about the other two. Obviously, UEFA, very dodgy with the draw, pure incompetence that they had to then redo it.
Yeah,
Ben seems to have this very silly idea that Abramovich has UEFA in his pocket, having drawn Lille twice.
Maybe that could be a thing. Nah, I mean, I mean,
it was. if it was luck, bloody hell are we lucky? Bloody hell are we lucky? Because I was thinking it's typical Chelsea. Like, we've just pulled Lille, we're going to get Bayern Munich now, and we're going to get kicked out for round of 16. I was like, it's going to happen. Absolutely, it's going to happen. I was trying to find the stream because I knew I was going to be absolutely gutted. I managed to get a stream up with the draw because my Wi-Fi was being buggy, and it was instantly Chelsea withdrawn, and I was like, hang on a second. I think Bayern and have already been drawn.
You can only get.
I just did this by myself.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I was like, Real Madrid right now, they're looking good, looking much better than last season. Lille. And I no disrespect to Lille, because I mean, obviously they did top their group. They did win the Liga last season instead of PSG, which I think is a big achievement. But
on paper, it's more favourable.
Oh yeah, massive. Again, of the four, it's the best option.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, I think that is obviously it was still raw, the other stuff back then, but I think that is just pure luck. But I think, that's not saying that Abramovich hasn't got a few connections with UEFA, but I do think that was the first thing was pure incompetence, and the second thing is just pure luck, basically.
Yeah. And then last but not least, Bojo with his fancy parties.
It's the crazy thing is that he still believes that he's got the moral authority to sort of, ask people to do things, when back when the parties were occurring, it was a lockdown. The parties were illegal.
Yeah, people weren't allowed to go to funerals, go to weddings, see elderly relatives who may have died during that COVID period.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, all the rules are followed. No, it was illegal to have parties back then. So how can rules have been followed? Like, what are you talking about? But it's just crazy, but it's
crazy.
But it's a fundamental problem throughout. Not like say through football, a Formula One, government, whatever, and inevitably what it comes down to is money.
Yes,
and inevitably, and the more sort of gut wrenching thing is that we can't do anything about it.
No,
we have no influence over it at all, which is like, well, and so that you have to let it go. But it's like it's sort of damning that it's like full well what's going on, but there's nothing you can do about it. So it's just like, whatever then. And it's just and even if you wanted to do anything about it, there's just like the amount of people that you need to be able to do something about it is ridiculous. And two, the bureaucracy that goes on is even more ridiculous. So you have to jump through hoops to try and do something. So it's just like, and people have lives to live,
I know.
They have their own problems. They have they have to go to work. They have to, help their own family. Like, so it's like, it'll never be sorted. It'll never be.
I guess kind of the end of the moral of the story is, at the end of the day, I think this has been going on forever.
Yeah, far too long.
It's never gonna change.
Yeah.
Well, and on that note, a really happy note where
we got to end it on a happy note. No, we got
happy note. On a happy note. Okay, what's a happy note?
But the shining light in all of this is Man City. No, joking. The shining light in all of this is that
you're still going to get podcasts with Christmas special coming up from the Blue Podcast. That's the shining light. Make sure you do subscribe to our channel. We would greatly appreciate that. Like the video if you enjoyed it, which I'm sure you did. Dislike it if you didn't. I just want some interaction. And also, do leave us a comment if you agree or disagree with anything we've just said, because obviously it's our opinion, and never know. We could be completely wrong, which I don't think we are, because I definitely think that everything we just said is true. But
the rules are on our side, so I don't really see. I mean, obviously, people will argue whatever if they believe something else, but the rules are on our side.
Yeah. Anyway, well, this will be out today. It's actually been out today, 6 o'clock. I'm actually currently editing the thumbnail for you guys. Cheers. Anyway, thank you guys, and we'll either see you some point next week, whether it be Thursday, Friday is debatable. I think Fridays, I'm quite enjoying the Friday uploads. Don't know about you. Yeah. Cheers, guys, and see you guys later.